So I want to welcome you all here on the call with us tonight. And I've invited Natalie to come on and share and make sure we all understand about all the promotions and all the fantastic things that are happening in May. And you guys, I know you're all excited because we've all talked. And you're all going to rank up this month, and I'm so excited and be eager and overjoyed to be posting all those celebration pictures with your rank ups. So Natalie has agreed to come on tonight and share with us. So thank you, Natalie, for joining us.
Well, I'm excited to be here. And I'm excited by what this team is doing, to see the consistent, which is key, growth that this team is having is incredible. And I think it's what we all are dream for, is to find those team players that are consistent month after month, who push through the obstacles, who don't let the negative get in the way, who know that all of those negative things, people quitting or saying they're going to enroll and then not enrolling, and those are just all part of the business. And I think when you realize that it takes a lot of bricks to build the house, and not all bricks are gold. Sometimes there's some chips in them and sometimes they crack, and that's just all part of building the house. So once you get that in your head, I remember a training I went to where it was all about emotional intelligence. And I remember when the speaker talked about, you've arrived, you've got the emotional intelligence it takes to build a business. When you can have that calm, how there's some people, they overreact and they get angry and nasty like that. They've got a really short fuse. They're not really the kind of people you want to work with too much. They're challenging to work with. And then you've got people that it doesn't seem to matter what stresses they have, they handle it. They're calm, they're collected, they know that they're going to work through it. They've just got a different kind of life experience or a different kind of temperament. And those are the kind of people you're looking for, people who have that emotional intelligence. And if they don't have it, when they get here, they learn it and they grow, because that's part of one of the Diamond ambassadors speaking in Hawaii a couple of years ago. And she said, I was a basket case. I had anxiety issues. I had panic issues. I'm just going to say what it was. I was a bitch sometimes. I was blaming her for things that had nothing to do with her, and it was all about me. And she said, my enroller just loved me through it. But she said at one point, she told me, I think you should quit. And she said, I didn't want to quit. She said, I just knew I had to grow. And so, but one of the things I love here is the positive energy this team has just naturally. So I love that, because I want you to know you cannot go gold, senior gold, ruby, senior ruby, and you sure can't go emerald with having a lot of disappointment, without having those disappointments, and without having, only Cindy really knows. Pamela was around too a little bit to know what it was like when our computer systems were really, really bad. The challenges that we had.
That must have been frustrating.
Yeah, and if we could survive that, hey, we could survive anything, because we don't have any of those challenges now.
No.
So I want to say a couple things. And one is, it's easier. I'm going to just talk about a few kind of principles, and then we'll talk specific strategy. But it's easier to build fast and slow. It's easier to build with momentum than when there's not momentum. And so I always say to people in the beginning, as you're building, if you can accept the fact that it's going to be a little bit of for those who really want to build. Now, some people just want to do it really slowly, and it doesn't matter if it takes them a couple months to go silver, and it doesn't matter if it takes them 6 months to go gold. They want to do it slowly. But for those people who have some pretty big goals, which I understand most of you do, then what I would say is, if you can go through a period of imbalance, we call it a season of imbalance, it means you're doing a little bit more in a condensed period of time than you may do consistently in the long run. So by that, I mean, let's say we'll use this month's promotion, where you know that it takes 9 personals to earn the full promotion. Now you can spread it out and say, okay, in order to get 9, I'm finding that I have to talk to about 5 people for every one that I actually can enroll right away. So it's going to take me reaching out to 45 people. You can spread that out over the whole month, or you can say, we have a lot of free enrollment codes right now. We can enroll people for free right up until the 15th of the month if the team's all kind of sharing their codes and that kind of thing. Then why don't I try to reach out to all of those people before the 15th? Heck, maybe if I could reach out to all of those people in the next 4 days, then that's going to give me another 5 days to meet with them, sign them up, give them enough information, follow the conversation through its organic, natural, process. Or you can spread it out. Or you might say, I'm okay if I enroll 9 in the next 2 months because I don't really care about the promotion. But if you can condense it, hey, Dennis, if you can try to condense it and be a little bit out of whack, a little bit out of balance, it might mean that you really do want to come home and you want to watch Survivor, but you really think that tonight's the night that you're going to reach out to 20 people in an hour. And you've got to be willing to make some sacrifices if you want to create that momentum. If you want to build a business in your spare time, then you don't have to give up anything, but you'll build a spare time business. But if you really want to achieve some growth quickly, then you're going to have to maybe give up a little bit. Might mean giving up a little bit of TV. I'm not willing to give up Survivor. I use that as an example. I'm not willing to give it up, but I will give it up during active business hours. So I record it and I'll watch it in bed at 11 o'clock at night when I'm not likely doing any business. So it's just getting a little organized that way. Another principle: get bold, be bold in reaching out. Do it with confidence. Do it, if you remember or think about the fact that if your confidence isn't greater than their skepticism, they're always going to win. You need to be bold and confident because it's people's nature to try to kind of break down what you're saying. But if you're so confident and sure, their skepticism isn't going to win. So share with boldness, whether you're one-on-one, whether you're on Facebook. Don't worry about what other people say or think. Just share with confidence and bold. And I always say, don't let other people put you in their shadow. Don't do that. Don't let them put you in their shadow. A lot of people are kind of jealous. One of the greatest things at Plexus that I have found is it is a whole company of encouragers. People sincerely are excited when they see sidelines and people that don't even know succeed. I get super stoked. Cindy can tell you because she's in a private chat with some of the team, our Plexus Power Team leaders, and I've been sharing numbers of people who have gone Emerald in the last couple months. I don't know if you realize, and because we can't really share the numbers yet, but they'll be coming out soon. But we had over 60 advancements in the Emerald, Sapphire, and Diamond ranks last month.
Wow.
Over 60 in the United States alone. Over 60. I think it was something like 30 to 40 Emeralds alone. So I asked some of them to share my numbers. I am so excited by other people's success because I don't see it as anything more than encouragement that it can happen for everybody, that everybody can have what they're doing. So you want to make sure, and I'm just looking at a few things here that I want to say, but I want to talk some specific strategies. Another principle is that 80% of your time must be spent on personal recruiting. It's one of the easiest things to fall out of, especially when you start getting a little team. You feel like you got to spend a lot of time supporting them. It's still 80% of your time should be on recruiting. If you find yourself moving into management mode, your growth slows down. Because typically the people you're managing are not recruiting at the same rate you can recruit. So make sure you keep your place, and Cindy and Dennis are the best examples of that. Cindy clearly with all the enrolling going on is spending her time on recruiting. Although I know she does lots of team support and lots of 3-ways and lots of training, but not at the expense of personal recruiting. That's why these kind of promotions work so great, because it keeps you focused on the right behavior, personally recruiting. You want to have systems in place. Systems in place. We're going to talk about the things you can do to recruit, but have a system in place for your follow-up. Because if you want to grow, remember if you put one in April, and they're gone in May, then you have to recruit 2 in May to grow by 1. You have 1 in April, you lose them in May, now you got to put 2 in just to make up for the fact you lost 1 in April. So spend time in your follow-up. And a really good system is making sure you have a conversation with them when they get their products, walk through how they're going to take their products. A follow-up, some people even do a little text every day, just a reminder, don't forget your product, because we know that they have to get in the habit. After 1 week, a follow-up. And that's the perfect time. If they didn't do a post when they got on the products, it's a perfect time after 1 week when you say, so tell me, you're going to have to help prompt them. What are you noticing? Are you noticing more energy? Are you noticing clarity? Are you noticing deeper sleep? Are you noticing less cravings? Prompt them, because then they'll say things like, you know what? I realize that I haven't actually felt like having a nap in the afternoon. But until you prompt them, they don't realize. And then that's a perfect time to say, hey, while we're talking, I'm going to write a quick little post, because you don't want to leave it to them or 2 days later you're still waiting. So I'm going to write exactly what you're telling me, and I'm going to send it over to you. And you just do it while you're talking, real quick one, because you want to show them how easy it is. And you add in there, so let's say Kimberly's sending it to one of her new ambassadors, and the ambassador said, yeah, you know what? You're right. I actually noticed that I don't need to sleep anymore. Kimberly writes a little thing that says, I just realized, having been on the products for only 1 week, that I'm already noticing I don't need to take a nap in the afternoon. I almost missed it. I almost missed that was something that's already changing for me. I got on these products because my friend Kimberly was having A, B, C experience on the products, and I'm really excited that I got on. Would love to have some friends join me on this amazing journey. And then you shoot it over, and Kimberly shows it to a friend and said, does that sound like what you just said? And she said, yeah. And Kimberly says, do me a favor right now while we're on the phone, post that on Facebook. Take a picture of yourself, take a picture with the pink drink. Can you post that on Facebook? Tag me on it, please. And if anybody comments, I can answer and help take care of them. Don't you worry about it. I want to make sure that we get your products paid for. That is a simple technique to start getting referrals through their circle, because you guys know that a networker who builds a big business learns how to get into other people's network. Doesn't matter how many people you know, it matters how many people your friends know. You may not have a big network, but your friends may have a very big network. So it's a matter of trying to get into their network. And sometimes we give too much responsibility for them when they don't see the big picture. They're not planning on building a business. They don't know what an emerald is. They don't know what the promotion is. They don't care because they haven't come in to do all that. But you can help by writing the post, sending it to them. Very often they're ready to do it right away. Some are really good at getting people to do that, and some seem a little bit shy to do that. But that can make a really big difference, and that might inspire them to become a builder. Okay. The other thing another principle I want you to understand is don't be tied to the results, only to the process. Don't own the results. You have no control on the results. You only have control of the process. So if you say, I'm going to reach out to 5 people a day, I'm going to message 5 people a day, I'm going to add 3 friends on Facebook a day, whatever your goals are for yourself, you only own what you control. You can control reaching out to people. You can control following up with people. You can't control what they see or decide to do. You just have to trust the process. If you reach out to enough people and use our systems and use our shareables and do the 3 ways with Cindy and do the right steps, the proper results will follow, but you can't own them along the way because we can't control what people see and do. But we do know the numbers will always work out. Doesn't matter who you are. If you play the numbers and reach out to enough people and do it the right things, you will end up getting people who want to be customers and finding people who want to build the business. Before we talk about the steps, I want to do one little exercise with you guys while you're sitting there. And I want you to remember that when they say in network marketing, it is all about growth. You will never exceed where your personal growth is. If your growth isn't ready to be a gold, you're not a gold. Or if you get there, you'll sabotage yourself and bring it right back down. So you always have to have personal growth. And that means reading books, listening to trainings. I know for me, I listen to Diamond documentaries every day. Every morning, that's what motivated me, was the Diamond documentaries. But I always had my nose in a leadership book. I always do. I'm always rereading leadership books. It just gets me in the right headspace. It reminds me of my role sometimes. And it reminds me that our leadership is a huge gift and a blessing. And we can change lives. So we owe it to all the people following us that we be the best leader we can be. And so we need to, and there's times in our life we need more growth than others times. And there's times we need to be reminded of, for me, I go back and read some of the things because sometimes I know I just need that reminding. But I want to do a little exercise. Sometimes we're not attracting the right people. Sometimes we don't attract the right people because we're not very attractive. We attract exactly the kind of people typically that we are. And sometimes that's a hard reality. You'll see people, and I use Dory as an example on the team, and she wouldn't mind if I say this. Dory had this attitude when she came in, that she lives in this town called Dixon, Illinois, where there's very high unemployment and the average average income is very, very low. So when Dory came in with desperate health issues, it was important for her that she would spend the money on the products. But she said nobody she knows would spend the money on the products. She said, they're not too expensive for me because I need them. And she was willing to budget for them. And she had a husband supporting her in that. And she had a lot of health issues, Hashimoto's disease. She couldn't get pregnant. She had a lot of health issues, and the Plexus products were miraculous for her. But she said nobody she knows. So you know what it was like with her? Every single person she talked to could not afford the products. They weren't really interested in that because she got exactly what she was putting out. Negative people attract negative people. People who complain about the cost of the product attract people who complain about the cost of the product. It's just the way it is. It's the way it is in life. We tend to be, when they use the example that you are the average of the 5 people you hang around the most, it's also true that you surround yourself with people that are like you. That's what's comfortable. Smokers hang out with smokers. Athletic people tend to hang out with athletic people. Sadly, people don't have money hanging around people who don't have money. Negative people hang around with negative people. It's the way it is. So sometimes you have to actually take yourself outside of that group. We have a lot of diamonds who said all of their friends were living in poverty just like they were. So they had to find a way to get out of that circle. And if you can get out of that circle, you're never a prophet in your own land. But if you can get into somebody else's circle, they don't know who you are. You can create a whole new persona if you can get outside of your own circle. But the other thing is sometimes we look for the wrong people and we don't even know it. We look for people who need to lose weight. We look for people who need money. And I'm going to tell you something. You want people who enjoy good health, who just want to optimize their already good health. They already prioritize health in their budget. Maybe they have a gym membership. They already buy supplements. You're looking for people that value the kinds of things Plexus has. I'm not saying you don't look for people who need money, but some people will live in poverty their whole life because they have a poverty mentality. Some people live in poverty, but they already have decided this is not where they deserve to be. So they don't have a poverty mentality. But it's really important that you know what you're looking for. Now, this is going to be really clear in a minute after I do this little exercise. I want you guys, other than Carrie and Cynthia, who's at work, and we can't see Carrie, so I'm just going to have to trust that Carrie and Dino are following along with me. But the rest of you, I can see.
We are.
So I want you to look around the room. And I want you to look at everything in your room that is red. So look around.
Oh dear, it's almost everything.
Okay. Well, commit to memory everything in the room that is red. Look around and kind of commit it to memory. Have you guys, do you think you can kind of visualize everything in your room? If you close your eyes, will you be able to visualize everything that's red?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
So now what I want you to do, I want you to close your eyes. Take a moment and just kind of visualize everything in the room that is red. Okay. Now without opening your eyes, I want you to tell me, I want you, without opening your eyes, I'm going to go to Kimberly first. Kimberly, don't open your eyes.
Okay, I had to unmute. Okay.
So Kimberly, without opening your eyes, tell me what is in your room that is yellow.
That is yellow?
Yep.
There's a little bit of yellow in one of my pictures. Well, yellow, goldy color. And that's about it.
That's all you can see. Open your eyes. Do you see any more yellow in your room?
Oh, there's a plant on the table. Yes.
Okay, I'll do one more. Sheena.
Yep.
And Cindy and Penny, Carrie, you guys can open your eyes. But Sheena, you can't. So tell me what's in your room that's green?
That's green. I know there's a plant. There is a plant. There's a picture on the wall. I got some green in it. Froze.
Oh.
I'll come back in a sec. We're not froze, but everybody else is.
We still muted? No. Lost it.
Hey, Cindy and Dennis. We lost you.
I know I lost my connection for some reason.
Yeah, we could see you were frozen.
Yeah.
So if you're focusing on red, overweight, unhealthy, people who are desperately financially hurting, that's what you're seeing. But guess what? The yellow, the people you should have been looking at, the woman that's serving you at the store who's always in a good mood, she asks about you, she's enthusiastic, she gets great service to the people in the store. You don't see her. Or you don't notice the guy who owns the gas station down the road. You know he's successful. He owns a nice house. He goes away a lot. He does great business. He's a good entrepreneur. You're not really noticing him because he's not in that list that you've identified. Kind of like when you become single and your friends say, make a list of all the characteristics you want because you want to be really clear out there what you're looking for. You want to be really clear what you're looking for as a business partner and a customer. You want to write it down. You want to be clear. I know I want positive, enthusiastic, fun, charismatic. I want somebody who has natural leadership skills. If it's the woman in the neighborhood who raised all the money to put a playground, that's the kind of person I want. If it's a woman who's lost 50 pounds and she's at her perfect healthy weight, but she lost 50 pounds, she knows how to set a goal and go for it. You want to be really clear what you're looking for. So when you are out during the day, you see it immediately. You can walk by the person who's a little grumpy, probably needs plexus, but they're not the kind you want on your team. You choose who you want on your team. What kind of customer? I'm looking for customers who already enjoy good health. They just want to be healthier. Maybe they have blood sugar issues. Maybe they do have some pain. Maybe they naturally have some of these things happening. Maybe I don't see it, but they tell me afterwards they've got digestive issues. But I see them as people who value their health, who will invest in their health and want to improve it. So reticular activating system. So I say all that because this month you're looking to enroll people, but you want to enroll the right team members. Because if you're going to build a stable, growing team that provides good residual income, you want to start attracting the right people to your team. You want to make sure you have the right team members moving forward with you. They come in, they go on auto ship, they're committed, not just to use the products for 60 days. They understand that it takes months to completely kind of transform their health. No, we have to say to them they have a 60-day money-back guarantee, and some will come in and only test it out for 60 days. But we're looking and explaining to people that you didn't get where you are in 60 days. And it may take longer than 60 days to see the full benefits of our products. Okay. Now that I've said all that stuff, it's the beginning of May, and we have people who are going silver on your team, super silver, gold, who are looking to advance their business. Remembering that you are in business. So if you're in business and running a business, then one of the basics is that you've got to know your numbers. You go into your genealogy, you say, okay, I've got 4 active ambassadors with subscriptions on. I know that I have 20 points guaranteed this month, pretty much guaranteed. I've got 4 active ambassadors. You always want to go in, go to your dashboard, click on the points and rank up, and that's when you scroll down, you're going to see your team. Make sure that everybody's got their subscription. Make sure that everybody's subscription is set for 100 or more. If they happen to be somebody, and we have that happen sometimes, that they fall below 100 and they end up with 70 because they just have a slim, then hopefully you had the conversation when they came in that an ambassador, to be a qualified ambassador, is 100 points. However, they have their membership. They can choose to do what they want. But I always say to them right from the get-go, if at any time you fall below 100 points, then what we're going to do is we're going to set it up so that you get 2 slim one month, and then you're going to skip a month. And then you're going to get 2 slim the next month. And I explained to them that we're doing that because, one, we're going to cut down the shipping costs for you, because why pay for shipping for one product when the shipping is essentially the same cost, and now they can get 2 months worth. So I'm kind of a control person, and I don't want to leave it to people. So I'll say to them, I'm happy to manage that for you. But of course, I'll just go in and move their subscription for them. Or I'll say, I will put it in my calendar, and I'm going to call you in 2 months. I can either do it for you if you want to give me your login information, and sometimes I have it as I set them up, or I can call you to remind you in 2 months. Which would you prefer? I don't make it an option, because I'm very clear when people come in. It's 100 PV. If you fall below 100, we'll set you up. But I have a person in Fort McMurray that my daughter had set up years ago. All she uses now is X Factor. Can't get her to do anything else. All she uses is X Factor. When I told her that she might as well just do her X Factor or order 3 months at a time, that's what well, I should say to you that she also has maybe every 4 months she'll get a slim, because in her mind, the slim, she only takes the slim when she does night shift. She does 7 night shifts a month. So she does that. So every 3 months, she gets a slim and 3 X Factor. That's what she does. And, but I set that up and I control it. I just send her a message saying, I know you're coming up to your 3 months. Do you want me to do your order? She says, okay. We've been doing that now for about, I think it's been 3 times we've done that now. So I want to remind you guys, you're running a business, and I'll be very clear with people. I don't get paid if you don't do 100, and you're not really a qualified ambassador. And the ambassador program, this is what it's set up for. And especially if you're using free membership. Free memberships, I say to people, these are gold to me. If you want to take advantage of the free membership, I just need to ensure you're going to do 100. And any month you fall below that, you will agree to do an order every other month so that we can keep you at the 100. Okay, so you're running a business, treat it like a business. Your people will respect that. They're going to respect you if you're treating it like a business. So know your numbers. So look at your genealogy. Let's say you're a silver right now, and you say, okay, my next position is super silver. Now this month, everybody would get there just because we have this promotion if you're pushing to get your 9 for the promotion. But let's say it's not a promotion month and you have 4 ambassadors right now. They're all on auto ship. You know exactly when their order's coming out this month. You would say, okay, I need 6 people. I need 6 active people this month. If you don't have any of those 4 that are going to be working for you, with you, then you're going to have to go get 6. So you need to be really clear. I need to have 6. So set yourself a goal. Am I going to do 6? I like what Cindy did last month. And Cindy said to me right at the beginning of the month, here's my goal. I'm going to put 5 in before the 15th, and I'm going to have 5 in after the 15th. That's what she said to me. Guess what Cindy did? She put 5 in before, and she put 5 in after. Exactly what she set her goal to do. That's the kind of thing you want to do, is figure out how many do you have to do. Count on yourself. Don't count on anyone else. Only count on yourself. It's a bonus if one of the people you have step up to the plate. So know your numbers. Now let's talk about, you know, your numbers, you know that where you want to get this month. What are some of the things that you can do to expand your network and get those numbers? I went to a training way in the beginning when I first came into network marketing, 1994. I didn't know anything about it, didn't know the term. I went to Toronto. I was going for a meeting. My husband had a meeting there. So we got an email saying, or a message or something telling us that Enrich, the company we were with, was hosting a meeting, and the speaker was Mark Victor Hansen. Some of you may or may not know him, but Mark Victor Hansen is the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. And he was a top income earner in that company. So he was going to be speaking. I love the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. So I thought, well, Rick's at this meeting. I'm going to go. He's going to drop me off. It wasn't that far, and I'm going to go listen to Mark Victor Hansen speak. I didn't know anything about Enrich. I was just getting the products because of health product problems that I had. Doctor, I was going and getting them from, I was paying full retail. One of the nurses I worked with said, hey, my husband, who's a doctor here in town, he can set you up with a wholesale membership. That's all I knew. I knew nothing about the business. I got really excited when Mark Victor Hansen, who's this well-known author and had all of these books, said that his most reliable income that was coming in at the time, I mean, he became much more famous, but the most reliable income he had coming in was his network marketing income. And he said everybody should have a residual income coming in. And he set us home with a challenge that day. He said, now we didn't have Zoom. Phone calls were expensive back then. You know, we're going back 25 years ago. He said, before you go to bed tonight, I want you to call your closest friends and family and tell them you're in a challenge. And that you have to, before you go to bed, you need to have 5 people agree to have an information meeting for you. We used to call them herbal meetings, but an information meeting where they have to invite a minimum of 3 friends to come and allow you to practice doing a presentation. So I called my parents who lived in Kingston 2 hours and asked if they could pull some people together, and they ended up doing it at their tennis club and got quite a few people. I asked my sister-in-law in Ottawa if she could get a few people together, and I told mine was in a promotion. I went to bed that night and I had 6 people agree to bring some friends together. 2 of them were in Ottawa and 1 was in Kingston, so 2 of them were a 3-hour drive. But it did, and I worked full-time as a nurse manager. Didn't matter to me. I was so excited that I had set that goal to get 5 people to agree. That's something that you guys can do as well. You guys can either use that same kind of, that same kind of strategy. I'm in a promotion. I've been asked to get 5 of my closest friends or family to agree to just bring a few people. It can be over coffee in the morning. It can be a breakfast meeting. It can be at Tim Hortons, where you would like to just explain. And right now is a really good time because I've got some codes that would allow free enrollments if there's some people who decide they'd like to try it. And then if it's one-on-ones, you can bring Cindy with you if you're in Fort McMurray. And if you're not in Fort McMurray, you can use Cindy, use me, because we can come in on Zoom and help out as well. So that's one thing. Of course, setting your goal with how many people you're going to reach out to a day, whether that's through Facebook or you're out face-to-face and you're going to meet with people. But how many people, and check that off every single day that you've accomplished reaching out. Don't own the results, just the process, that you're going to reach out and message 3 people, 5 people a day and ask them if they would take a look at Plexus. Make sure you're posting regularly. That is your storefront. If that's where you're looking to get business, then it's really important that people see you consistently putting something out there. It doesn't have to be all about Plexus. And it can't be too much about Plexus. It can't be all Plexus because that's not who you are. Your Facebook needs to be a reflection of who you are. What is the other parts of your life that's really important? Is it your children? Is it your church? Is it your volunteer work? Is it fashion, decorating, whatever it is? Your Facebook or Instagram should be a reflection of who you are, how well-rounded you are. And so it's got to be about more than just your Plexus. It's got to be about other things in your life, things that give you joy and things that people would know that, oh yeah, that's Cindy. When Cindy and Dennis start posting about their trailer, I see that as part of who they are, how much they love that, and their fires, and they're outdoors, and that's something that is something about them that I look forward to seeing, and I'm sure their friends look forward to seeing as well. Is everybody using Wellness Headquarters, our ATM group? Do you know what that is? Everybody?
No.
No? Okay. So we have it's called Wellness Headquarters. Cindy came up with the name, Road to Wellness. Sheena, you're probably in the group. You just may not remember because it's a lot to remember. But it's called Wellness Headquarters, ATM, add, tag, and message. This is a really easy place for you to educate your prospects about plexus. It's an easy place when you meet somebody or you know that they have some health issues, whether it's Hashimoto's disease or they have arthritis or they're diabetic or they're looking to lose weight. They don't have any energy. They're having problems sleeping. It doesn't matter what it is. If you go into Wellness Headquarters and hit the search on the left, or if you're on a phone, then you just have to go in the little URL bar on the top, put your finger in it, and then just type it in. It depends if you're on a phone or on the computer. And you can search, say, Hashimoto, and then it'll pull up any article that has to do with that. And we also have Plexus Journeys, which you're probably in as well, where there's a lot more articles, but you can't tag people in there because only people that are ambassadors can be in there. But you can copy and paste things and send it to them. But ATM, add them, tag them, and then message them. You add them, you don't have to ask them permission. So Sheena, let's just say you have a friend and she's struggling with something, or you just want her to learn a little bit more about plexus. You go in there, you add her, you find a couple articles about plexus, you tag her, then you message her and you say, hey, Diane, I was just thinking about you. I saw a couple articles that made me think of you. I've tagged you in those articles. I think you might think they're interesting. Let me know what you think. By the way, if you want to take yourself out of there, the only way I could take you in these articles was to put you in this wellness group. But if you don't want to be in there, just take yourself out. It's okay. Nobody gets mad at you for doing that. And what happens is they usually stay in there. And then what happens is they might occasionally see something else. They might get kind of dripped on and see some other stuff. But ATM, so that's something you want to be doing. You want to ask people maybe if they can have a few people over. You're in a promotion. You want to, for people that you know and are your supporters, they're your cheerleaders, you can say to them, I'm in a promotion. I'm trying to get 9 people set up on these products by the 15th of the month. Is there any chance you could just have a couple friends over? I'll practice explaining it. We'll let them test the pink drink. And if somebody wants to take advantage of it, I can get them a free membership in all likelihood. Oh, do you guys carry pink, the drink samples with you?
I haven't.
Okay. Really good idea to do it, because when you get talking to somebody, say to them, I have a sample here. Some people, I don't know how easily one would do this. You'd have to be kind of organized, especially when it gets hot out, to keep a cooler. But some people keep water bottles in their cooler, in their car, and pink drinks. So when they meet somebody, they give them a water bottle, put it in, they show them that you can put it in, shake it up, and they give it to them to drink. Another little thing is sometimes people don't, if you don't know them, if they're people you don't know that you've just met when you're out and about, they might not want to give you their email address or their phone number. But everybody uses social media comfortably. So what you can do is hand them your phone, or if they have their phone in their hand, which often people do, connect over Facebook. Just say to them, open your phone and I'll find me and we'll do a friend request. It's always better if you can do it that way, because then you're accepting their friend request rather than them accepting yours. So if they have their phone, say, if you open Facebook, I'll find myself there and we'll do a friend request. And I'll send you some information. It feels less threatening to send information on Facebook than by email or phone. Sometimes people will give that to you, but that's a really easy way. If you have the opportunity to do little shows, little market shows, whether it's at the church or whether it's a little community event where you can have a table, that's a great way of getting a lot of contacts. Have samples, have the slim pink drink for them to sample, and have information for them there. Have a display, have samples to sell, 3-day samples, 7-day samples, have the samples to sell, because people can make a $20 decision on the spot. Mm-hmm. And some of them will become your ambassadors and customers on the spot. Some will already know the product. Some used to be Plexus people and they say, oh, good, I've been looking to get on the product again. But if you have samples, you've got a reason to follow up with them. So those are really good ways of expanding your network. Rachel, there's a woman named Rachel who's in Louisiana, who's in Emerald. She enrolled 27 people in March for the iPads. She hadn't enrolled more than 3 or 4 a month in about 2 years. She decided she was going to do what she did way in the very beginning, and that was flea markets. There's a flea market there. It's $10 for the table. And she said, it sounds crazy, but I just used to get a lot of contacts. And she said, the difference now is so many people know about Plexus, especially in Louisiana, because it started in Louisiana and Mississippi. She said it was fantastic. That's where she got almost every single person she enrolled. She had free enrollments. She told them that this is the time to do it. And she was just really enthusiastic. And she said almost all of the 27 she enrolled came from the flea market. Now, that doesn't always work, but that's what worked for her. I want you to, we did the reticular activating thing. I want you to not be afraid to talk about the business. Often when people come in, they mostly talk about the product and they forget to really talk about the business. If you remember that most people go to sleep worried about their finances, more people go to sleep worried about money than worried about their health. Even if their health is suffering, more people worry about money than health. More people worry about retirement income than their health. Young people worry about the fact they can't afford to buy a house, they can't get the second car, they can't do the family vacation. They worry about money more than anything. And we lose some people because we talk to them about the products and they're worried about money, so the last thing they can do is afford products. But you can always fall back to products. But if you talk to people about the business, which is what they're really concerned about is the money, then you may find some people that you didn't even know. And a lot of people don't see themselves as business people. They don't see themselves as entrepreneurial. They don't see themselves as having the ability to do it. They don't believe in themselves. So they're not going to ask you about the business. But if you ask them, Arlene Wilcox talks about way, way, way back when she was in her 20s and she was a nurse and she went to a Mary Kay meeting. She never wore makeup. She felt very uncomfortable sitting there because her friend asked her to go and she had never worn makeup. And they were talking about, 2 different kinds of eyeliners and using eyeshadow and doing contouring. And she had never used any makeup before. But she thought, this is really cool that people can do this on their own hours and make money. And the woman saw something on Arlene and said, you could really do this business. And she couldn't believe it. And she was so shy. But she said, I would never have asked about the business. But she said to me, I think you could do this business. You're outgoing, you're friendly. I think you could do this business. And she didn't see herself that way. So don't be afraid to ask people about the business. You want to make sure your calendar is as full as it can be. Once you've identified your work hours, if you have a physical calendar, sometimes visually it's easier to put everything that's non-negotiable. Church on Sunday, be non-negotiable. I don't work between this hour and this hour on Sunday. I can't work Sunday evening because I have this going on. Wednesday night, I have my son's basketball. That's a non-negotiable. I cannot do anything between 7 and 9 on Wednesday. Put in all your non-negotiables in the calendar. Put in all the things you'd like to do. I'd like to be at the gym 3 days a week. I meet for a girlfriend and go for a walk on Thursday morning. The things you'd like to be able to keep in your calendar. Your work hours, if you have an outside job that's non-negotiable for now. And then put in your plexus hours. Have that marked in there so that it becomes a non-negotiable too. When somebody says, hey, I'd like to drop by and have a coffee. You know what? I'm working from 7 till 9 p.m. I can't do it tonight, but I could do it tomorrow at such and such a time, or I can meet you at lunchtime. So make sure that it's not a spare time business, that you give the same value to your business time as you do for all the other things that are in your calendar that you would say no to a friend. I think that's really important. Remember that your success is always going to be outside your comfort zone. So if you're only doing what's comfortable, you're probably not going to reach your goal this month. Make sure you're stretching outside of your comfort zone. It might seem like a lot. Maybe you felt like it was a lot to enroll 3 last month, and now we're saying try to enroll 9. You might be thinking, how the heck do I do that? I only enrolled 3 last month. How am I going to enroll 9 this month? Chances are you haven't employed a lot of the strategies. Having a bunch of samples. If you've ordered this month or last month, you've got some samples and you do a picture, which I'm about to do actually, with samples and say, I've got 8 samples. If you're interested in one of these samples, PM me because I only have 8. They're going to go quick. And what happens is you find out people that have been watching that you didn't even know were interested who say, I'd be interested in one of those samples. Now you have a chance to say we have free membership. As a matter of fact, my thing is, If you want to get on and take advantage of their 60-day money back guarantee, and especially for the local people, I'll give you one of these samples to get you started. That'll be my gift to you for you to get started while you're waiting for your product. You have to be creative. You are in your own business. Everybody's offering different promos. Some are doing free shipping. Some are doing a little bit off the large packs. The numbers are big. Somewhere around 70 to 75% of people are now coming in with a large pack. There's one jewel who just posted on our jewel site that she had 209 enrollments last month. She had 209 large packs. Wow. There's a group that's doing really well. Our group of about my team of the month before, when there was 138 enrollments, about 100 were large packs. Last month I had 98 enrollments and about 72 or 73. So still sort of in the numbers of the company, somewhere around 75% are coming in with the large pack. One of the things we know is retention is better on the large pack. Retention is better. They have more experience with more products, and the stats are that they are more likely to stay on the products. Let me just see if I have anything else. I think the big thing is just for you to know, you've got to be connecting with people constantly. This is a numbers thing. If you want to grow fast, you just got to talk to a lot more people quickly. I think what happened when I saw Cindy and Dennis's business turn was when they started recruiting a lot of people. It was funny. All of a sudden, they had more team members who wanted to do the business. So keeping your own personal numbers. Melissa Eichenhorst did a really good training once, and she called it number 72. And she enrolled 72 people before she found a runner. 72 people.
Wow.
But she probably makes $500,000 a year now. She just kept recruiting until she found a runner. She said, I don't know. It's like you throw up a deck of cards. You don't know where the 4 aces are. You may have to go through a lot of cards until you find the ace.
Yeah.
Some get lucky and do it right away, but you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's it. I think that's all I really have to say. I know we already have talked quite a long time. What time is it? Yeah, we've talked a long time.
Thank you so much, Natalie, for sharing all those amazing.
Thank you.
Did you want to stay on and do a Q&A for a couple minutes?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Anybody that has any questions for Natalie, anything that you feel about the promotion or anything, now's the time to ask her and get her help.
Do you want to turn the recording off maybe? Do you think we should turn that off?
Yes.
And then
I will right now.